'cause it's the best day of your life. 'Cause it's the best day of your life. Your life, my life, together you and me do. Don't dream away, don't dream away. Dream away. Ooh. Live for the day. Don't dream away. Live for the day. It's the present we've been given.
Good evening, good evening.
Good evening, right.
Thank you, Jim and Cole. Let's show them some more love.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you, Sonny.
Welcome to the Revealing Experience. How are we doing tonight?
Great.
Can I get a whoop whoop? I love you. Welcome again to the Revealing Experience. My name is Sunny Daye. I am so happy and grateful that y'all are here. So we're going to start off singing. It's in your program. If you don't know it and you're with someone who's been here before, they'll sing nice and loud for you, won't they? Here we go. Come on in, we welcome, we welcome, we welcome you.
Come on in.
Come on in, we welcome, we welcome, we welcome you. Let go, be free. Come on in and take a seat. We're glad you're here. We're spreading love, joy, and cheer. So come on in,
Come on in.
come on in,
Come on in.
come on in. We welcome you. Come on in,
We will.
come on in,
We will.
come on in. We welcome you. Come on in. So we also have this song called Step Into the Light. This one's not in the program, so just sing along with me. It's really simple. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are.
Step into the light.
Step into the love, step into the truth of who you are.
Step into the light.
Step into the love, step into the truth of who you are.
Step into the light.
Step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. I am and you are the light of the world. I am and you are the light of the world. I am and you are the light of the world. One more time. I am and you are the light of the world. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the joy,
Step into the joy
of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the joy of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the joy of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the joy of who you are. I am and you are the light of the world. I am and you are the light of the world. I am and you are the light of the world. I am and you are the light of the world.
Step into the light.
Woohoo!
Mm-hmm.
Ah. Y'all sounded really good on that. It's a keeper. And so we move into this space now where we just take a collective breath. And we sing of the truth and the joy and the peace that is already present right where we are. Reveal, reveal the love inside of me. Reveal the love that I was meant to be. And every time I open up, love is what I see. Reveal the love in me. The peace. Reveal the peace inside of me. Reveal the peace that I was meant to be. And every time I open up, peace is what I see. Reveal the peace in me. The joy. Reveal the joy inside of me. Reveal the joy that I was meant to be. Every time I open up, joy is what I see. Reveal the joy in me. Reveal the love inside of me. Reveal the love that I was meant to be. And every time I open up, love is what I see. Peace. Every time I open up, peace is what I see. Joy. Every time I open up, joy is what I see. Reveal the love in me. Beautiful. So move with me, if you would, into prayer. As we bask in this sweet energy that is so tangible, so real, knowing that there is only one life. That life is everywhere present. That one mind, one life, God. Abundance, love, power, joy, peace, divine infinite spirit, everywhere present. That life is my life. Spirit lives, moves, and has its way with me right here. It is my very breath. And as I know this is my truth, I know this is the truth for each of us. We are the life, the breath of God. Know this. This is the truth of who we are. And so it is in this knowing, this absolute oneness, this absolute wholeness, that I speak a word for this service this evening. Knowing that it divinely unfolds, absolutely perfectly. That everything that needs to be said is said, and all that needs to be heard is heard. I bless all who have come together to make this indeed a revealing
experience. And I bless our beloved Reverend Sunshine, knowing that she is an open, available vessel through which Spirit rings, sings, speaks through. I know as she brings that infinite wisdom into this evening, that it falls on receptive hearts and receptive ears. And so it is with great gratitude that I just know that this evening is good and very good. We are filled up. I am grateful. And together we say, and so it is. Good evening, y'all. So yes, we are all booked up, yes? This is familiar to us who've been here. The theme of reading our Science of Mind book, yes? So 2014 theme, we're getting booked up. And tonight, Reverend Sunshine's message is Rearrange Deranged. You know, only she'll explain it. You know, we get these titles and we're just as curious as y'all are. We're like, what's she gonna talk about tonight? We know it's gonna be good. So this evening's reading is taken from pages, this week's pages were 227, if you're reading along, which I know y'all are. So I picked a part from the reading to read with you this evening. And the title of it is Treating Insanity. Okay, here we are. So, in treating one whose mind appears to be deranged, realize that there is but one mind, which mind is God and is perfect. This is the only mind there is. It is the mind of your patient. It is your own mind. This mind, being a complete, perfect, and indivisible whole, cannot labor under a delusion, cannot for one moment lose its self-consciousness. And then it goes on to say, the practitioner must never allow himself to think of the patient as having lost his mind. And for those who are not licensed practitioners, this is your friend or your family or someone you know, okay? You cannot think of them as having lost their mind. If once the consciousness of the practitioner becomes clouded by such a thought, he would be truly the blind leading the blind. The practitioner must believe that there is but one intelligence in the universe, and that this intelligence is everywhere, flows in unlimited supply through every individual. This is the truth that we know. It's good reading. And so to further indulge us with this topic, and what is it again? Rearrange Deranged. Please welcome to the stage our beloved Reverend Sunshine.
Thank you. Yeah. Nice job, Sunny Daye. Thank you so much for that beautiful prayer. Thank you, Cole and Jim and Sunny, for that beautiful music. Hello, community. Hello. Was today like Bring a Friend Day? I love it. That's what we're going to do every Wednesday. It's going to be Bring a Friend Day.
And wear your glasses day.
And wear your glasses day. Do you like these?
I do.
They look like wood, huh?
They do look like wood.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. They're plastic though, but they look like wood.
Nice.
Thank you. Enough of that. What's happening? How y'all feeling? What an amazing ride this has been. Reading today's reading about treating for insanity. So first, I want to let you know that last week I was in Colorado. in Golden, Colorado. In Golden, Colorado is our headquarters. For those of you who may be familiar or may not be familiar, Seaside Center for Spiritual Living is part of a global movement. And our headquarters is located in Golden, Colorado, and that's where we have staff that make themselves available to centers like ours and to centers all over the world. And in February, I was elected to be part of a ministers' council, a group of ministers that come together for the health and wellness of ministers throughout our movement, and we had some business to take care of. Minister business. We had some business to just kind of take care of, and taking a look at the health and the wellness of our ministers throughout our movement, because when our ministers are fed and rejuvenated and taken care of, and when we are renewed, and when we have education, and when we have the things that are necessary in order to live this abundant, creative, intelligent life that is the life of God, we're simply then in a position to be able to share that with everyone, so that we're reminded that right where we are, God is, so that you know the truth that right where you are, God is as well. And so greetings from the staff and from the other ministers that are in Golden, Colorado, and that were there with me. They send their love, and they want you to know that all is well and that we continue to move forward in our goal to awaken the world to its greatness, our goal to awaken the world to a consciousness that life is ours, that life is happening, and that our life is indeed that life of God. So, now that you know that you're loved and that you've been embraced by our movement, back to the topic at hand, this whole thing about treating for insanity. And for those of you who may be new to our science of mind philosophy and to science of mind in general, when we use the word treating is a prayer. But it's not just any prayer. It's not like that prayer that we do at school when we're taking a test, or that we do when we meet somebody for the 15th time, but we forgot their name. It's not that kind of prayer to be like, oh, God, help me. You know that one, right? Oh, God, please help me. Or if you get me out of this one, I promise. I promise I'll do better next time. Or, gosh, oh, God, help me. What's his name again? Oh, I just want to remember his name. All prayer works. In our philosophy and in our way of life, we call our prayers a treatment, and we call it treating. And so when we're doing a prayer, a specific prayer, a scientific prayer, where we recognize the power and the presence of God, and we recognize that we're one with that power, that it is an impossibility to be anything outside of this life that God is, that we are it and it is us, that we're one of the many, many myriads of ways that God expresses in the world, in the universe, in its entirety, that we are a way that God expresses. We recognize the one power, one presence. We're one with it. It is who and what we are. We're an expression of it. Therefore, that which is true of God is true of us. And so when we use this scientific method, especially as we're thinking about, or when we're talking about, because so many people kind of say, oh yeah, so-and-so lost her mind. You know, when one of your good friends has done something like really, really silly, like gotten back together with an old boyfriend who just wasn't the right one, or goes back to this whatever that is just not the right deal, or someone who constantly continues to do things over and over again, expecting different results. A lot of times we use that expression, he or she has lost her mind. What has happened? What is going on here? And the reality is that when we begin to live this spiritual life, when we begin to really step out onto this spiritual journey, and we begin to unfold, and we begin to really uncover the truth of who we are, we get to recognize that not only are we all in our right mind, but that this idea that someone has lost their mind, or that someone is insane or that someone is deranged, if you will. When we read the newspapers and we hear of all the heinous and hideous things that certain people have done, we usually attribute it to some type of mental illness. We attribute it to some type of I wonder what it was like growing up in his household or her household or something to that effect. I mean, who hasn't done that? Who hasn't done that? Okay. Somebody raised a hand. I was like, what? You haven't? Oh, my God, I'm hanging with you. I mean, it seems to be the race consciousness to go there. There must be something wrong. And when we begin this spiritual path, it is incumbent upon us, each of us, not only to recognize our own wholeness, not only to do our affirmations and to remind ourselves that right where I am is wholeness, is peace, is abundance, is joy, is perfection. Not only am I to say that I am whole, perfect, and complete, but indeed, we must know that for everyone else. Because to believe that that's just the truth for me is to believe in separation. And if I'm going to believe in separation, then what I'm going to also then believe is that I could be the one who's deranged. It was like the one comedian who said, if you're in a group of girls or a group of guys or whatever, and, they said there's always a crazy one in the bunch. Well, if you don't recognize the crazy one in the bunch, it's because it's you. Right? And that's not the truth of who we are. And it's not the truth of our friends and our families and people who indeed sometimes may display behaviors of being a little bit off, or maybe having a physical different ability or a mental different ability. It is incumbent upon us to recognize that even in the world of appearances, that even when the conditions in the world of effects may show up like that, even though everybody might point to and go, oh, deranged, that in our own mind we must rearrange our thinking and recognize that that is a mistake. It's a mistake. It's a mistake. That we have mistakenly labeled God as this human being as deranged or insane or differently able or less than. And as you do these to the least one among us, you have done it unto me. So as we begin to then label people as less than, or we can't associate with them, or we can't do this or can't do that, or them over there, really what we're saying is that that's the truth about who we are. Because the truth of the matter is that there is no separation. That which is true of that individual is true about us, because that which is true of God is true of each and every one of us. I was watching an interview the other day with Russell Simmons. And some of you may know Russell Simmons, and some of you may not. He's, a beautiful man who's, for many, many years has been involved in the hip-hop and clothing line, and he's got a gazillion dollars and da-da-da-da-da. And Oprah was interviewing him as a spiritual thought leader. And some of us might think, really? Hip-hop? Fashion mogul? A spiritual thought leader? Like, that just doesn't match, right? And in the interview that she was having with Russell, he's so enlightened that he's speaking our language. What he said was, if God were the ocean, so if all of God was the ocean, if you can just imagine that the allness of God is the ocean, and if you close your eyes or even with your eyes open can imagine any vast ocean, if God is the ocean, then we are a cup of God. If you just take a cup and scoop up some of that ocean, then that's who we are. That there's no separation. That we are that unit, but everything that is the ocean is in that cup. So if you will then, that's exactly who we are. It's no less ocean than the rest of the ocean, and it's really part of the ocean. It's part of the oneness and the wholeness. We are the ocean. We are the way life, the way God, the way love, the way abundance, the way peace, the way joy expresses. We are a cup of it. This individualized unit is a cup of God. You are a cup of God. Therefore, that which is true of God is true of you. And even though some of that ocean might come up on the sand and maybe look like it's being absorbed by the sand, it's no less part of the whole. It is still a part of the whole. It's just serving a different purpose. It's just, some of it is a wave. Some of it is the undercurrent. Still part of the whole. And so to say that someone is deranged or to begin to believe that someone is less than is an impossibility really in the mind of God, because the ocean is the ocean. Because God in its perfection, in its wholeness, in its joy, and in its victory, and in its glory is. Therefore, that's who we are, and therefore that is that person whom we have maybe labeled or mislabeled as deranged. So it is then incumbent upon us then, as spiritual beings, as that ocean, as part of that ocean, to begin to really see the truth of that individual, even though in the world of appearance, even though the way she or he might be acting or performing or showing up may seem to be different, may seem to not be in alignment. It is so essential. And I don't even know a word, like we have to. We got to. Like a word that's even more essential than essential. Like we have to truly begin to let go of these ideas that anything or anybody is less than the wholeness and the fullness of God. Otherwise, to believe that and to go there is to say the same thing about who we are. And to say that about who we are, then we're lying to ourselves, which is what we have been doing since childhood, since infancy, and we've allowed the world to continue to tell us lies, and we've continued to believe it. But now we have this opportunity to know the truth and have the truth set us free. And have that truth set us free. That we must begin to clearly see and to clearly know that irrespective of the behavior, that that person is the way that God is showing up on this planet. That even though, whether it's insanity that we're talking about or deranged or anything else, that whether that person is even someone we like or don't like, that is the way, the beautiful and magnificent way that God is showing up. So for us to set that person aside or to say that they are an otherness would somehow suggest that they're not part of the ocean. But if God were simply the ocean, there's nothing else but the ocean. There is, so it's an impossibility. So what is it that we get to do to begin to get rid of those old ideas? What are the steps that we get to take to really begin to reveal the truth of who we are and have the truth revealed to us in such a way that we can grasp it, that we can drink it, that we can be with it, that we can embrace it to the degree that we begin to really live a full life, that we begin to live from that place of an awakened consciousness. Because until we begin to see this in the least one among us, we'll never truly know the truth about our own life, and we'll never truly be awakened. We will still be at the mercy of being sleepwalkers, dreaming that we're awake. Have you ever had that happen? Sleepwalking, dreaming that you're awake. And then when you really wake up, you're like, whoa. Because it happens. It happens. And when, it's 2:27, right? When Ernest Holmes talks about this, and he talks about what we must do, when he says the practitioner, at this stage of the game, he is not talking about the person who is a licensed practitioner. So in our movement, we have folks who go through an extensive training, 4 years of training, and they test, and they sit before some folks, and they have their level of consciousness reviewed, and upon successful completion, they become a licensed practitioner, which means that they have passed, they have a license, they can serve in a capacity like a spiritual counselor and have sessions and receive compensation for those sessions. However, Ernest Holmes is not talking about that group of practitioners in this reading. In this reading, he's talking about you. Okay, everybody, take that finger and point to yourself. Talking about you. Exactly. You, the person who practices these principles. You are the practitioner. He's talking about you and how you have this opportunity not only to know for yourself, but to know for the individual the truth of who they are and the truth of who you are. That you begin to not only sit here on Wednesdays and Sundays and let talks happen to you and let folks talk to you, but that you indeed then begin to absorb and embrace what is being said, what you feel, what resonates with you, that you indeed absorb it and take it and contemplate it, that you then take it into your meditation, that you take it into your prayer work, that you begin to start to live these principles and be with them in such a way that you become one with this way of life, that it does indeed become a way of life for you, that this philosophy indeed tickles your fancy so much that you want to know your life as the life of God. And so this is the person that he's talking about, that this practitioner must never allow him or herself to think of the patient as having lost his mind. So when we begin to think, oh, that person is this or that or the other thing, whether it's losing their mind, whether it's less than, whether they're broke, or they're just sick, or they're just different, that we must never entertain that thought, because that is not the truth of who they are, right? He says that the practitioner must believe that there is but one intelligence in the universe, and that intelligence is everywhere, and it flows in unlimited supplies through every individual. So when we begin to not only see ourselves, but see others as, oh, they're poor, like the person who's outside of Starbucks when we're buying our $4 coffee or tea, or when we're going through a fast food place or whatever, and we see that individual with a sign, or we see that person asking for money, at that moment, what a great opportunity to practice exactly what Ernest Holmes is talking about. That instead of going, oh, there's that bum, or oh, get a job, or oh, there's that person who's experiencing homelessness, or who's weak, or who's a drug addict, or who's an alcoholic, or who shouldn't be even on the streets, let me call somebody to clean up the area, that instead of us going there, that we go to this place of, look at God. And right where this person is the unlimited supply of love, of joy, of peace, of abundance, of clarity, of wholeness, of perfection. That we begin to rearrange the derangement in our own mind. Hello? The derangement in our own mind, because really the one who's deranged, if you will, is us thinking that somebody else is deranged, because that's not the truth of who they are. We have to rearrange that. We have to really clear that away and recognize the truth and cut to the chase that that is one of the perfect ways that God is expressing. And we must clarify that in our own mind. Otherwise, what happens is we believe in separation, there's an us and a them, and all of a sudden, we're not part of that ocean. And all there is God. And all there is the many ways that God expresses in, through, and as us. This has been a quiet group. Y'all picking up what I'm putting down? Does it make sense? Yeah. And the truth of the matter is that we've been taught this way of thinking. We've been taught to think of separation and us and them, or, there's those people out there. I mean, that's stuff that even I was taught. And I grew up in the South Bronx. I was probably one of the them. I was probably one of the them to somebody. And yet even I grew up thinking that there was another them. Go figure. So even in my own mind, I get to clear up the derangement, if you will, and begin to really clean up that there is an us and a them. And that I get to sit in, and that I get to court this idea that there's one power, one presence, one life, and that it has many, many ways of expression, and that it does express in, through, and as each and every one of us. And to the degree in which I embrace that and I know that, to the degree in which I take that into my prayer, into my meditation, and to the degree in which I know that this unlimited supply lives in, through, and as me, and in, through, and as each and every one of us, to that degree do I really begin to awaken to the truth of who I am and awaken to the truth of the world. In the meantime, if I'm not doing that, and when I'm not doing that, I'm just sleepwalking, dreaming that I'm awake, thinking that I'm doing the work of God, and still separating. So it's our task this week, if you will. It's our joy this week to practice between Wednesday night and next Wednesday night. It's our joy to practice catching ourselves thinking, oh, that boy's ugly, or a pain in my butt, or, oh gosh, if he could just get out of the way, or thinking that someone has lost their mind, or making those comments about how it's them and us. It is our joy this week to practice recognizing when we do that and not beating ourselves up about it and not going, oh, there I go again. There's another demerit. But instead, recognizing and just stopping for the moment and going, The unlimited supply that is life, that is God, is living in, through, and as this individual, even when they rub me the wrong way, even when they don't do what I want them to do, even if they're a pain in the butt, even when, because sometimes I can't get to that place of, oh yes, you are the beautiful way that God shows up on the planet. Sometimes I ain't that spiritual. So I have to say, the unlimited source of supply that is God is showing up as this life right now, even when it's not what I want. You know, because then it kind of makes it a little more palpable, and I could swallow it a little bit better. But before I know it, before the end of the week, even when that thought comes up, all of a sudden, because I've been practicing, aka being a practitioner, practicing, I begin to see where it becomes part of my life to see everything and everyone as the beautiful and magnificent way that life and that God show up on this planet. In the mind of God, there is no such thing as insanity or lack or hate or limitation. There's no such thing as dis-ease. It is indeed a human construct and an effect of our beautiful lives in these human forms. And what we get to do is go back to the absolute. What we get to do is go back to the truth so that we might indeed awaken ourselves, that we might indeed begin to live a life from this place of beauty and joy and abundance and power and clarity and love. So the invitation is to just clear your laps right now and for us to just spend a few minutes in the silence remembering this truth, remembering the words of Ernest Holmes. Remembering that we must believe that there's one power, one presence, one intelligence in the universe, and that this intelligence is everywhere, and that it flows in unlimited supplies through every individual. There's one power, one presence, one life. That life is God. That life flows in unlimited supplies in, through, and as my life. That means that divine love is who I am. Divine love is who you are. Peace, abundance, in limitless supplies flows through your life and through the lives of everyone that you know. We take this in, we sit with this, and we allow it to be that point of default in our lives, meaning this just becomes our way of life and our way of thinking. Unlimited supply flows through each individual, including me.
blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Divine.
And so we just get grateful for a moment. Grateful for the gentle reminders of who we are. Grateful for the persons sitting to our left and our right, in front of us and behind us, those that are around us. Grateful for this spiritual community that has come together because we don't want to live in mediocrity, but instead we have chosen by our demonstration of being here physically or viewing online, live streaming, we have chosen and demonstrated that mediocrity is not for us, that we indeed want to awaken to our greater yet to be, that we know that there's an inkling within us, there's something that is simply calling us forth to know our life as the life of God. We know that what we have lived up to this place, to this time, has been sufficient. And yet, there is more. There is something that is calling us to our greatness, something that is nudging us to be more, something that is calling us to go deeper into knowing the truth of who we are. And by our being here today, in this moment, in this time, by our listening to this word and this prayer and the words that have been spoken, and by resonating with that which was said or prayed or the music, that we know that we're saying yes to this call, that we're saying yes to this inner nudge, that we're saying yes to that which continues to pull us into our greatness, that we're saying yes to the truth of who we are. We're saying yes to life, yes to God. Yes, I want to know my life in a bigger way. I want to know my life more fully, more deeply. I want to love more deeply. I want to experience abundance more deeply. I want to experience clarity and this knowing that I know that I know. I want to experience that. I want to be so tapped into the one mind that I move with ease and with grace, even through uncharted territory. How grateful I am that these individuals have come together to say yes to growing and to unfolding and to awakening together. That together, as this spiritual community, as Seaside Center for Spiritual Living, that we have come together, that we might awaken and that we might indeed be a part of an awakened world. That by our waking up, others too awaken to their greatness, to their wholeness, to their truth. So as we practice this truth this week, we say, look at God. Look at the way life shows up. Look at the way God is showing up. The unlimited source and supply of the one is fully available and accessible to each of us. It's fully accessible in, through, and as my life. This is the truth of who I am. And I rearrange my thinking and my actions and my words and my demonstration so that I might live from this place of seeing God in each and every person, everywhere I go. So for this, I give thanks. And for this, I am truly, truly grateful. And so I release this word now into the activity of the law, knowing that it is already done in the mind of God. Therefore, we joyfully expect its manifestation in, through, and as our lives, for we are one. And so it is. Amen. I love that time in the silence. That was perfect, Jim. Thank you. You know, Jim times it all, so I know that he's divinely guided. So if we sit and we sit and we sit, it's like, yep, Let's just be in it. Let's just nestle in it. I appreciate your consciousness. Thank you, beloved. Speaking of consciousness, it is our conscious giving time where we have an opportunity to share our financial gifts with this spiritual community. So I'd like to invite the ushers to come forth at this time and simply invite you to put into your hand that which you've made a decision to share with this spiritual community. One of the things that I always say is that we give from a place of the overflow. We recognize that we've been given so much, and out of the so much that we've been given, we simply take a portion to share with this spiritual community. Not because we have to, but because we recognize the greatness of what we have. And we're simply sharing part of that greatness with this spiritual community so that it continues to be here for those of us who are awakening and for anyone else who'd like to come through those doors to hear this message, for all of our programs and all of the things that happen here at Seaside. We get to be self-supporting, and we get to support not only our Wednesday night services, but also support the work that happens in Golden, Colorado, where we have staff that are here to serve us here, even when we don't even know that they exist. So thank you in advance for that which you fill these baskets with. Know that we are excellent stewards of what we're given here, and that we tithe to our community, and that we are indeed great stewards. So, knowing that you are indeed a great steward, and that we are great stewards together in community, take that which you have brought to share with Seaside, place it upon your heart, give it your own blessing, your own feeling of thanksgiving, knowing that that which enters these baskets is now multiplied, and that it is now freely given, and that we cannot outgive because we're constantly being given. This flow, this unlimited flow of abundance is happening in, through, and as us. And for this and so much more, we give thanks. And so it is. Amen. Go forth, ushers. Thank you for your service. So appreciate you. And as you give, you receive. That's the nature of life, right? So you're giving now, but please open your hearts to receive the beautiful music of Sunny Daye, Jim Bianchi, and Cole Miller.
Have I told you lately that I love you? Have I told you there's no one above you? You fill my heart with gladness. You take away all my sadness. Ease my troubles, that's what you do. Oh, the morning sun in all its glory greets the day with hope and comfort too. You fill my heart with laughter. You somehow make it better.
sun. And at the end of the day, let's give thanks and praise to the one, oh, we are one. Oh, have I told you lately that I love you? Have I told you there's no one above you? You fill my heart with gladness. You take away all my sadness. Ease my troubles, that's what you do. You fill my heart with gladness. Ooh, you take away my sadness. Ease my troubles, that's what you do. That's what you do, that's what you do. And I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. I love you.
Sunny Daye, Jim Bianchi, Cole Miller. I think she means it too. You mean it? Yeah. You know, we have a few minutes left. At the Revealing Experience, what we know is that we are all revealers of truth. And so this is an opportunity where you have an opportunity as our spiritual community to reveal a truth, or to simply stand and be heard in spiritual community, to be supported, or to simply share something that you took from today's service that you're going to take with you and use the rest of the week. Hello, beloved.
You are magnificent.
Wait, let me make sure. Is this one on?
Hello?
Tell us your...
You are magnificent.
Well, thank you, beloved. I appreciate that. Tell us your name.
Namaste, Judy.
Judy, thank you so much for being here tonight. I so appreciate you. Hi, beloved.
Hi, I'm Terry. Sometimes you have gems that you take away and you just don't get up and share. And tonight I have so many, I'm afraid I might hog all the minutes. But first of all, my son just said, you should go on American Idol. So there you go. Oh, yeah, okay, the voice. I'm hearing the voice.
The voice and the voice.
Second of all, I turned back to my dear friend and I said, you crazy lady. And she said, didn't you just hear the talk? So I have three things I think if I can get my head around this is I've always found it not a compliment when someone has like said the word normal. I love the little off the charts crazy kind of insanity in people, the things that are different, and I like to recognize those things. So it was just good, that word. We often have a negative connotation with it, but I like it.
You like the drive in people, that thing that
yeah,
just kind of makes them the edge.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then speaking of that, you said something about, I've made little notes, about give and receive, and it reminded me, today I was on my way to the gym, and I have no problem talking to people. So I'm at the stoplight. And I look to my left, and there is this beautiful high school girl. I'm by the high school in San Marcos, and she's so beautiful. Like, I cannot believe how beautiful this girl is. She's stunning. And I look in my rearview mirror, and I see the gentleman behind me, like, looking too, and I'm just, like, moved to tell her. And I roll down my window, and I tell her. And she just freaked out. And what was so cool was I gave it, but then she gave it back. She was, like, skipping across the crosswalk. It was so cool. Which then leads me to my last little tidbit. My mom's husband recently passed away, and I was at the car wash, and there was a gentleman with a World War II cap on, cute little guy. And of course, I had to approach him and say something, which my kids always find so embarrassing that I have to talk to everybody. It's true. And in talking with this gentleman who ended up he was my mom's husband in spirit, right in front of me. He ended up sharing with me about his wife passing away. And he had a little insane moment, starting to talk about the government and how he's moving out of California because it's full of unions and whatever. And I just heard him and realized he walks like a different life. You know, he knows things I don't know. And I was so high when I left this guy, just from connecting with him for a few minutes. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
Meeting someone who's like me is like
Boring.
seeing me.
Yeah.
It's the people that you get that aren't like ya that, you know, make you tingle and jingle and stuff.
Good deal.
So anyway, that's it.
Thank you so much, Terry. I so appreciate that. I love it. I love it. I love it. You know, and that's the great part about our Wednesday night service is that people get gems and they take them with them, or, you know, there's something in the music, or just that it moves us all, and that it comes from our community. This is us. This is our community, and it's open and available to anyone and everyone. So next Wednesday, bring a friend, because I'm going to be talking about the breath of life. Breath of life. Who knows what that'll be about? Breath of life. So I just want to take a moment to be grateful. Grateful for our practitioner, Robin Holt, who's been in the back holding vigil, a.k.a. holding the light. She's been in the back in kind of this meditative state, just knowing the divine unfoldment of our service today. And I love her consciousness. She's going to be available after service for prayer today. And so if there's something on your heart or your mind that you would love some prayer about, she was going to do a treatment, which is what I was telling you about earlier. And she is a licensed practitioner. So she is a powerful prayer. She loves to pray. That's what we do as practitioners. Sunny prayed for us earlier today. She's a practitioner. We love to pray. We love to know the truth beyond the world of effects. So she'll be available for prayer after service, and I'm just simply grateful for her consciousness and her being of service to us here tonight. Want to make sure that, again, I thank Cole Miller on our conga tonight. Thank you so much on our percussion aspect of life. He's here every week and just being of loving service. Thank you so much for the gift that you bring to us. Jim Bianchi, we missed you while you were away, and we're loving that he's back with all this vim and vigor and all this excitement. Thank you so much for your consciousness and your music. And Sunny Daye, thank you so much. You're going to be a judge on The Voice, all right? You're going to turn your chair around and everything. I want to thank Ed Reeves. Ed Reeves did our sound tonight. Tim Griffin, who does our AV and makes sure that folks who are at home or maybe even shut in who can't get out, make sure that we're able to get into their homes. Tim, didn't you have a birthday last week? Yeah. Happy appearance day. I'm glad you were born, man. Just so you could be here with us on Wednesday nights. I love that. Thank you so much for your service. I so appreciate it. Boom, 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 boom. My beloved Jenny, thank you so much. She's our coordinator. Make sure everything happens. Want to let you know that our bookstore is open after service tonight. There are some new things in there, some things that you can't live without. So make sure that you stop in there and either pick up a copy of today's CD or take a look at some of the new books and things that have recently arrived in our bookstore. Also want to let you know that on Sunday, our beloved Dr. Christian is on vacation, so yours truly gets to speak on Sunday morning. So if you didn't get enough tonight, come on Sunday. It'll be a whole different talk. And then after the second service, I'm going to be doing a workshop. It's called Malas and Mantras, Developing Your Spiritual Practice. So we're going to develop your own personal mantras, but we're also going to make some prayer beads as well to accompany your spiritual practice. All right, I think, did I get everybody? Yeah? Yeah. Thanks to our ushers. Oh, thank you, beloved. It's my joy to be here. All right, let us rise and do our closing prayer. Our closing prayer is a song. And what we know is that any song sung is actually a prayer prayed twice. Thank you.
Reverend Sunshine.
You're welcome. Thank you, my love.
This is our prayer, a song of peace. We get to be the change we want to see. With open hearts and open hands, we lift our voices, in love we stand. This is our prayer, a song of peace. We get to be the change we want to see. With open hearts and open hands, we lift our voices, in love we stand. We lift our voices, in love we stand. We lift our voices, in love we stand.
See you in the family room for refreshments. Are you coming out? Yep.
To be humble, to be kind. It is a giving of the peace in your mind. To a stranger, to a friend. To give in such a way that has no end. We are love. We are one. We treat each other when the day is done. We are peace. We are one. We treat each other, nothing more. To be bold, to be brave. It is the thinking that the heart can't still say. And in the darkness can come quick. The dangers in the anger and the hanging on to it. We are love. We are one. We treat each other when the day is done. We are peace. We are one. We treat each other, nothing more. Tell me what you think you see. The world is full of endless possibilities. Heroes don't look like they used to. They look like you do. We are love. We are one. We treat each other when the day is done. We are peace. We are one. We treat each other, nothing more. We treat each other, nothing more. We treat each other, nothing more. Thank you.